Hello and good day, influencers. Hello and good day. I want to welcome you to day two. It is day two in our 12-day webinar. This is all about 12 ways on how to dominate in the new year. You are ready to propel, launch, and execute your dreams. You are ready to say yes and submit to your calling. Come on here. You are ready to get laser focused and commit to what it is God called you to do. So I'm super excited. This is day two. I want to welcome you to this journey. This is a journey where you and I are going to unite together and we are going to prepare, plan, and execute your goals for the upcoming year. So you're positioning yourself to get still, get quiet, and begin to prepare, plan, and execute, right? So let's get right into it. Today, we're going to talk about reflection. Okay, reflection. So this is day two, 12 ways on how to dominate in the new year. You got to reflect. And so we're going to talk about that. This is about reflection with honesty. Reflection with honesty. So I want to welcome you all to day two. And before we get into today's topic of discussion, I would love for you to tell me, what did you learn about yourself that you didn't know? What did you learn about yourself that you didn't know? Or what was the clarity? Because day one was all about clarity and focus, right? So if you are brave and courageous enough to just give me some feedback on what did you learn about yourself. It's very important that we learn about who we are, where we are, so we can always be intentional about getting to what's to come, the goal, right? Your story is still being written because you're here. So what did you learn about yourself that you didn't know? I would love to hear from you. So the topic of discussion is reflect with honesty. Reflect with honesty. So when we talk about reflection, there's two types of reflection, okay, that I'm going to share with you. Number one is purpose. You can reflect with purpose. And I'm going to talk to you about what that looks like. So purpose is to explore and examine ourselves, our perceptives, experience, and actions, behaviors. I'm going to say that again. So when you are reflecting with purpose, your intentions are to explore and examine yourself, not anyone else's role. You are reflecting on yourself, your perspective, your experience, your actions and behaviors. This is about holding yourself to an accountability. Okay, so you are going to focus on yourself. You're not going to focus on the naysayers. You're not going to focus on the haters. You're not going to focus on the words of everyone else and the role that they played. You want to make this about you, because that's how you grow. And that's how you continue to grow and develop, when you focus on yourself. The second way to be intentional with reflecting is intention. And this is my favorite. This is where we're going to go and move forward in this presentation, with this technique of reflecting with honesty, with clear intention. You always want to operate from a space of being intentional. If you don't know what direction you want to operate in, if you don't know what it is that you want to do, how you want to do it, and what you need to accomplish it, then you are going to find yourself in cycles and circles. No one is exempt from this. I found myself in cycles and circles when I didn't execute with intention, when I didn't execute with clarity and focus, when I allowed myself to get consumed with other distractions. I wasn't intentional. And it's nothing wrong with being intentional and strategic in your movements, with relationships, with your career options. It's nothing wrong with being strategic with your life movements. This is about your life. This is about your well-being. So I want us to begin to reflect with honesty and intention. Like, I hope you got your pen and your pad, because you want to reflect with honesty and intention. So the purpose and intention of doing so is to actively this is you actively planning for and methodically executing the reflection process. So you're not just operating from the space of purpose with your reflection, but you are focusing on yourself. You're focusing on your perspective. You're focusing on your experience, your actions, your roles, your behaviors, your thoughts, right? You're going to a deeper level with your intimacy and your vulnerability within yourself when you reflect with purpose. But when you take it a step further to reflect with intention, you're now actively, you are now in a space of strategic movement. And that's the space that you want to operate from, because you're thinking rationally, you're thinking logically, you are activating your faith, you are being clear and direct about what it is that you want, and you are not allowing yourself to waste time and spin in cycles and circles, and you're going nowhere, no direction. So we want to actively plan for and methodically execute the reflection process. And that's what we want to talk about. We want to reflect with honesty and intention, right? Because it's about your role. This is about you. And so I have an acronym, how you can begin to put this together. When you begin to get still, get quiet, get to yourself, and really reflect upon your year, reflect upon your quarter, reflect upon your month. These are light practices that you can begin to implement and allow them to be a part of your routine. This is how you are going to dominate in the new year, when you operate with clarity, focus, and intention. Come on here, somebody. When you focus with clarity, focus, and intention. So it's about AHH. That is another acronym. Listen, I love acronyms, right? Because we know we choose to live. And we know that choose to live stands for to be liberated, improve daily, be vivacious, and enlightened. So when we operate from a space of being intentional and reflecting with honesty and intention, we have to implement this acronym. A stands for accountability. You want to hold yourself accountable. You want to hold yourself with honesty and accountability. So whatever you set your intentions to do, give yourself permission to execute it, with failure included, with mistakes included, with imperfections included. Still choose to hold yourself accountable to the mission. Whatever it is, give yourself grace. What happened last year was last year, right? And so how can we begin to hold ourselves accountable to accomplish our goals and be successful in our own right? So A stands for accountability. H stands for honesty. We have to be honest with ourselves. We have to be honest even when it hurts. I can remember when I first got started in my journey of becoming, because I believe that this is a journey. My life is a journey, and I gave myself permission to choose to live and choose to be intentional, right? Choosing to be liberated, improve daily, be vivacious and enlightened. That is my lifestyle every day, right? So I have to be honest with myself even when it hurts. I got to be honest with myself even when I've done wrong and offended, and I have to own it, meaning I have to take accountability and take the necessary steps to make it right within myself first in order to make it right with anyone else. Again, this is about you focusing on you. You got to get clarity and focus about you, what it is that you want, how you're going to get it, right? So you got to be accountable to yourself. You got to have accountability. H was you have to have honesty with yourself, and even when it hurts. You got to tell yourself the truth about yourself. You got to confront your mess. And in order for you to grow and go and propel forward, you got to confront your mess. And I believe we all have some mess within us, right? And that's why we're forever evolving, we're forever learning and evolving and growing. And last but not least, the last H to this acronym is humility. humility. Humble your spirit. You don't got to get it right the first time, but you do got to try again. Release your pride, release your ego so that you may live. So the acronym is AHH. You want to reflect with honesty and intention, with accountability, honesty, and humility. All right. So this is day 2. You got to reflect, right? And you got to reflect again throughout your life, throughout this journey. So you're going to reflect monthly. You can reflect quarterly. With each quarter, when it comes to your goals, when it comes to you, your well-being, remember? You can reflect yearly, and that's where I want you to start for you prepping and planning your next steps. You have to begin to go back and reflect for 2021, right? Go back and reflect on 2021. What worked, right? What worked? What didn't work? What was your greatest lessons? What was the hardest thing of the year that you experienced and why? What were you thankful for in 2021? So I have a yearly review guide that will help you to get clarity and focus and reflect with intention on this year. It's called my yearly review. If you would like this document, simply email me at anika@choosetoliveenterprises.com. That's with 1 E. Again, anika@choosetoliveenterprises.com if you would like this guide. It is a yearly review, a monthly review, and a quarterly review. Again, to help you get clarity and focus about what your next steps is going to be, because you want to be intentional with actively planning for and methodically executing the reflection process. So it has to start and end with you. So this yearly review will be helpful to you because it helps you to get clarity with the right questions. Sometimes we're not asking ourselves the right questions, right? And so in order for you to do better and be better, you got to know what was wrong and how you're going to do better. That's the strategy. All right. So let's break this down as we begin to reflect with honesty and intention. You got to begin, number 1, to analyze. What does it look like to analyze? You want to look at that issue. You want to look at the circumstance, right? Your role by asking the critical questions. So this yearly review will help you to begin to analyze. Again, sometimes we're not getting the results that we desire because we're not reflecting. We're not reflecting with honesty and intention. We're not reflecting with purpose, and we're not getting the results that we want because we're not getting still and getting quiet. So begin to, number 1, analyze. Analyze. Look at that issue with honesty. Look at that with your role in mind, not anyone else's, but asking yourself the hard questions. Number 2, you want to articulate. Okay, so you want to begin to give it sound and connect with your words. My God, that is something that I do. That has become a part of my routine. When you give your situation, your circumstance sound with words, it makes it a reality. You're no longer pondering. You're no longer just idolizing on the thought, but you're now giving it sound to make it realistic, and you're connecting with what's taking place. That's giving you power and authority to execute. Okay, so let's go back how to analyze with those critical questions, right? Because those of you who want the yearly guide comes with these critical questions, and it helps you to formulate your goals, right? With a time frame and really be able to execute your goals. We want to go to the analyzation of it all. Okay, there's 3 stages to this. 3 stages to how you can begin to analyze. You got to first think about the what. What happened? What did you do? What did you expect? What was different, right? What was your reaction to that situation or that circumstance? What did you learn? You got to get to the core of what it was. Okay. The next stage that you want to begin to analyze, what, and then so what. Okay. So what? This is the second phase on how you can begin to analyze with critical questions on getting clarity and focus. Again, we're reflecting with honesty and intention. So what? That looks like you beginning to focus in on your perspective, your understanding of the issue, the significance of the issue, right? That teachable experience, that teachable moment. You want to be able to get to the core and have an understanding of why it's so significant in my life. Why did this happen to me? How does it play a part in my life? How does this play a part in my relevancy, right? So we want to break that down. What does that look like for you? You want to gain a real perspective. Step outside of your frame, step outside of your beliefs for a moment and step outside the box. Put on a new mind, a new way of thinking. So you can get clear understanding of the issue and the significance of why did this happen to you? I didn't understand why I was held at gunpoint with my 3 and my 4-year-old son in the next room. I couldn't understand why God would allow me to go through lymphoma cancer. I couldn't understand why I went through so many domestic violence relationships, why I allowed myself to continue to go through that over and over again. But it plays a significant role in the woman that I am today, because I give voice to the hopeless. I give inspiration to the hopeless. Right? So my experiences have now allowed me to be that speaker. It's allowed me to be that voice. It's allowed me to be that motivation for someone as an author, right? As a radio host. So again, it goes back to the sphere of influence. My God, this is a great teaching. So how to analyze? You want to, number one, again, recognize and identify the what. What happened? Number two is you want to begin to say, so what? You want to begin to have a new perspective and an understanding of why this is so significant in your life. Why is this relevant? Okay. And then now what? Now what? That is the third stage of how to analyze. Now what? What are you going to do differently? How are you going to apply what you've learned to your life? How are you going to take that traumatic experience and use it for God's glory? Now what? And that's the space that I want us to be intentional with operating in. Leverage that space, because what has happened to you led you to this very space with me, because you know you have purpose and you know you have a calling. So how to analyze, you want to go through these 3 stages, and the what, the so what, and now what. All right, ladies. All right, gentlemen. All right, we want you to choose to live. All right, and that concludes this training. Again, this will be 30 to 40 minutes of your time. I look forward to you sharing your experience with me. What was your number one takeaway from this session on just day 2? Because this is about reflecting with honesty and intention. All right. So let's recap. Let's recap, because this is a lot of great content on today. Our topic of discussion was we're going to reflect with honesty and intention. Okay. And so how do you break that down with reflection? Again, you want to reflect with purpose and intention. Okay. And then you want to begin to analyze and articulate with critical questions. And a yearly review will definitely help you to get started. Those of you who want that document to help you to get to your next steps, you can email me at anika@choosetoliveenterprises.com. That is with 1 E. All right. And I would love to answer any of your questions that you may have. But until next time, until day 3, choose to live. Choose to be liberated, improve daily, be vivacious and enlightened. Until next time.